Welcome back, Bob and Pop Video Shop. I'm Joel. He's Tyson. I feel like I'm pointing backwards now. He's Tyson, and we are here to bring you a final Christmas horror movie review. We are covering Christmas Evil from 1980. Okay, so Christmas Evil is a 1980 horror film. I actually call it almost like a psychological horror film, written and directed by Lewis Jackson, who actually had very few credits. In fact, this, I believe, is, at least as far as IMDb is concerned, is his final feature directorial effort, and he had done a couple movies before this, one of which I'm pretty confident was at best a softcore porn movie. So this is really probably his one and only claim to fame, but what a claim to fame it is. So the synopsis of Christmas Evil is: a toy factory worker, mentally scarred as a child upon learning Santa Claus is not real, suffers a nervous breakdown after being belittled at work and embarks on a Yuletide killing spree. And while that synopsis is accurate, I would say it's a bit misleading, as are most of the trailers for this movie. Keeping in mind this came out in 1980, which, as we talked about a bit in the Silent Night, Deadly Night review that Tyson did, that late 70s, early 80s, sort of peak of slasher movie subgenre. This came out, and I guarantee you at the time it was viewed by many people probably as a slasher film. So Christmas Evil was a first time watch for me, which I believe might have just shocked Tyson. I don't know. So I guess we'll find out when we bring it back on. The thing that is fascinating to me about Christmas Evil is it is a very, very strong psychological examination about this particular character who is played by, I'll make sure I get his name right, Brandon Maggart. Brandon Maggart plays Harry Stradling, and he is this, I call him an innocent. He is someone who is obsessed with children. He watches them through binoculars, and all of that is to say, as creepy as it sounds, and it is creepy, and just watching them through their windows and as they go about their day. He's not a person that you would otherwise not want to have around your kids because of what you would assume. He's an innocent, and it's that obsession with innocence that ultimately is going to be what probably drives him mad. He's a tragic figure. This movie, in a lot of ways, reminded me of Taxi Driver or Joker. It's that type of movie where this person who is belittled by coworkers, lives sort of like by themselves. They're very isolated, very lonely. They're very ostracized and sort of on the outskirts of humanity, even though this particular character, Harry, has a family. Interestingly, his brother Philip, as an adult, played by a very, very young Jeffrey DeMunn, who, if you've ever seen a Frank Darabont movie or the first season or so of Walking Dead, he played Dale in that, which was really cool to see him. He plays his brother. And so even though he has that familial connection, there's a lot of tension there. And as it progresses, you ultimately, get some insight into the dynamics of why Harry is the way he is. But what I loved about this movie is they never fully explain it. They never go and try to over analyze Harry and why he's doing what he's doing. He believes he's doing something good. And it was a very, very strong movie. I liked it a lot. I definitely would like to revisit it at some point again. It has the same sort of look and feel. Came out in 1980, and it has a very similar look and feel to Bob Clark's Christmas Story. There's something about that early 80s look and feel of Christmas and the aesthetic of how they shot the movie, the film stock they use, the lighting choices. They have a similar look. And I don't want to call it a sleazy look, but it's grainier, right? It's a little dirtier. It's not super pristine and clean. And that works in this movie's favor, but it also helps heighten the Christmassy-ness of it. So yeah, Christmas Evil. It's not my favorite horror Christmas movie. That will always and forever be Black Christmas. but it is up there for me. To give you my rating, this actually is a 4-taper. I kind of went into this thinking it was going to be a 3-taper, but I think it's a 4-taper for me. I think it is one that not only would I have kept it for the weekend, I'd be willing to pay a late fee to maybe watch it once more, especially if I rented it, right around Christmas time, because it's interesting and that it gives you things to think about. I always thought it was essentially a slasher film, much like Silent Night, Deadly Night, and it is not that. So if that's what you're looking for, I would advise you to go in with different expectations because you'll be very disappointed. But if you go in psychological horror thriller about this very tragic figure who, quite frankly, you at times feel very sympathetic for. It's a very, very strong movie. Highly recommend it. 4 tapes. And as independent horror movies from 1980 go, very well done, very well made. Good job, Mr. Jackson and company. Oh, and it does have, by the way, a very young Patricia Richardson, who was, if memory serves, she played the mother in Home Improvement. That was it. Home Improvement. Yeah, she's in this too. Do you remember that little kid who looks at the Penthouse magazines and everything, and his mom's yelling at him? That's her. Yeah. It was her first movie.
Oh, darn.
It was her first movie. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't put that together. I mean, admittedly, it's been a while since I've seen it.
It was something about there was one angle. I was like, she looks familiar, and I looked her up because if you weren't looking, you would totally miss it. Yeah.
Yeah. So if I could just share my thoughts on the first of all, my rating, I'm 100% with you. I would give this as a 4-taper. Yeah. And I feel like you and I are absolutely on the same page that this is there's so much more going on in this than your typical Santa slasher movie, right?
Yeah.
You compared it to what were the two movie examples that
Joker, the new Joker with Joaquin Phoenix, and Taxi Driver were the two that popped into my head.
For sure, yeah. For sure. Both of them, but definitely Taxi Driver, just of that era. So, and the look and feel, and what I've always thought about when I watch Christmas Evil is William Lustig's Maniac.
Yes, that's the look. That's the look I'm talking about.
The look is very Maniac-like, and there's times where you actually kind of feel sorry for that main character as well.
But now that you say that, I've seen Maniac a couple of times now. That is a wonderful, because but what's interesting, it's a totally different type of movie, right? That is a slasher movie.
It's not without a doubt. Yeah,
but if you basically made Maniac and it wasn't a slasher movie, it would be this movie. Yeah.
The 100%. Point is, though, unlike sadly a lot of typical, I will say, slasher films, you don't get a lot of character depth, certainly from the main killer. And in this case, I said it and I'll say it again. There's a lot going on with this. If you can get past the box art, not that it's not cool, but again, it's kind of misleading. And to your point, if you've never seen Christmas Evil, the box art and just the premise, you go into this expecting to watch 100%. Silent Night, Deadly Night, which we just touched on, but this is so much deeper. Silent Night, Deadly Night is a great Christmas party if you're going to be spiking. If you're going to be spiking the eggnog
around, making jokes,
you know what I mean. But if you actually want to do a little thinking,
if you have not seen Christmas Evil, definitely check it out. If you have seen it, be sure to comment below. Let us know your thoughts. Let us know if you enjoy it. Maybe you didn't. Maybe you thought it was going to be a slasher film and you were annoyed that it wasn't. But also be sure to subscribe to the channel. Up over 250, trying to make our way to 500. That's the next milestone I feel like we can hit here. And hopefully this, my goal was within the first year. It'd be really awesome. Actually, I think originally I said if we get to 100, I was going to be happy. But it's I kind of feel like now that you're okay, let's go 500. I think we can do 500. So let's see how we do. We'll see how we do. Well, and of course, if you happen to be watching this on the day it drops, Merry Christmas to you. Happy holidays, whatever. Now all of a sudden I get all PC. What's happening? I don't even know. But regardless, I would say I was going to say go back and spend time with your family, but I guess it all depends on your family. Let's be frank.
That's true.
But if you're seeing this most likely after Christmas, hopefully you had a great holiday. And we'll see you in the next one. And until next time, remember at Mom and Pops, our love of.
It's so obvious, but the fact that this is coming out on Christmas Day, I got to go with Die Hard.
Never, ever stops.